Welcome to Reno's World Podcast, where truth slips through the cracks and myth whispers in the dark. I'm Reno Rains. Tonight's topic are ghosts actually souls of the past? We play an old movie in the background because, well, this is a podcast and we like to keep things interesting. Buckle up. Let's dive in. If the dead could talk, maybe they already have. And maybe we've been ignoring them because the truth is too terrifying to face. In 1972, the Vatican quietly commissioned an internal report, never meant for public eyes, asking one question: are the spirits people encounter truly the souls of the departed, or something else entirely? The document, known in circles as the Pope's Ghost Files, was buried until fragments leaked through private researchers decades later. What it revealed was enough to make seasoned priests resign in fear. But before we get there, we need to rewind. Way back. Because if we're going to talk about ghosts, we have to talk about death itself. In 1907, Dr. Duncan McDougall attempted the unthinkable. He tried to weigh the human soul. Working with terminal patients, he placed beds on giant precision scales and recorded their body weight at the moment of death. McDougall claimed that at the instant of death, a measurable loss of weight, about 21 grams, occurred, suggesting that something left the body. Mainstream science laughed him off, but the paranormal community, they never forgot. And then came the Phantom Project, a classified series of experiments run by the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Newly declassified files show they tested electromagnetic field changes in rooms where deaths occurred. Readings spiked wildly within minutes after death and stayed abnormal for hours. They weren't chasing superstition. They were chasing evidence of post-death consciousness. Now, fast forward to the 1980s. The U.S. Army secretly funded research under the Stargate Project, primarily known for psychic spying. But hidden among the remote viewing files, reports of discarnate entities interacting with operatives during deep mind projection sessions. Some described encounters with shadowy figures resembling dead relatives, too vivid to be imagination, too structured to be dreams. And still, no official answers. But wait. It gets worse, because to truly understand whether ghosts are real souls, you have to meet Sarah Estep. Sarah Estep was a quiet housewife turned accidental revolutionary. In 1982, she started recording hours of silence on magnetic tape, only to discover strange voices answering her questions. This was Electronic Voice Phenomena EP, and Estep's tapes became ground zero for what some call direct communications from the dead. One of her most chilling captures? A whisper that said, "We see you. You don't see us, but soon you will." No manipulation, no editing, tested by independent labs, and still unexplained. Meanwhile, religious scholars began connecting ancient texts. In Tibetan Buddhism, the bardo, the realm between death and rebirth, describes disoriented spirits trying to communicate. In Christianity, purgatory was theorized as a temporary holding space where souls might linger, half-trapped, different continents, different beliefs, same eerie theme. And here's the kicker nobody talks about. Multiple indigenous cultures, including the Hopi and Maori, claim that the dead walk among the living, not metaphorically, but literally, for days, months, even years before moving on. This isn't just folklore. It's a global pattern. Now, break time. Let's jump. Modern technology is only making this weirder. In 2014, researchers at the University of Southampton conducted the largest ever medical study on near-death experiences. Out of over 2,000 cardiac arrest survivors, 39% reported some awareness after clinical death. One man described floating above his body and verified in exact detail the actions of medical staff after he was pronounced dead. Brain death, verified flatline, still conscious. How do you explain that? Meanwhile, digital glitches add another layer. There are real documented cases, phones ringing from numbers belonging to deceased relatives, texts sent years after death, recordings left behind that update themselves. Search ghost in the machine phenomenon if you dare. Not urban legends, police reports, family testimonies, investigative archives. So, if you're still with me, here's where we land. If death was final, we shouldn't have 21 grams missing. We shouldn't have voices on silent tape. We shouldn't have Soviet psychic programs, Vatican secret files, or cardiac patients floating out of body and telling us about it afterward. Unless what we call ghosts aren't hallucinations, but real conscious fragments of human existence stuck, echoing, reaching. And if that's true, what happens when they realize we can finally hear them? But what happened next would break every rule of logic we thought we understood. December 14th, 2010, a classified electromagnetic field test at RAF Bentwaters, the same base tied to the Rendlesham Forest incident, accidentally triggered a persistent visual anomaly in Hangar 17. Witnesses described it the same way across 5 separate testimonies. Humanoid, flickering, watching. One airman, under oath in a sealed hearing later leaked to the Black Vault, said, "I saw a figure of a man. No gear, no shadow, just there, like unfinished business." The official report blamed it on radar interference. But private emails between officers tell a different story. They shut the hangar down for 6 months. Jump cut to 1967. Project Stargate, the CIA's secret psychic research division, quietly launched a side study on post-mortem consciousness survival. In declassified memos, CIA RDP 96-00788R01701001-1, a chilling footnote emerges. Subjects report interactions with non-corporeal entities during remote viewing sessions. Energetic signature consistent with previously documented PK events. Translation: remote viewers, government psychics, were running into dead people, and it scared them. Enough that entire folders of data are still blacked out 50 years later. Meanwhile, across the ocean, Japan's University of Tokyo began recording residual emotional fields in abandoned buildings after major earthquakes using muon detectors. The scientists expected normal background radiation. What they found? Localized energy distortions, human-shaped, hanging in collapsed buildings where thousands had died instantly. No electrical grids, no radio interference, just ghosts, measured, plotted, recorded, with data. No one talks about this outside obscure scientific journals, because what do you even say? Hey, we found dead people made of energy? But let's get even stranger. In 2006, anthropologists excavating a burial ground near Çatalhöyük, Turkey, one of the oldest known cities in human history, uncovered clay tablets dated to roughly 7,000 BC. The translation? The great ones walk still, unseen yet felt. Their breath freezes the fire and their fingers tap the stone. Ghosts in humanity's first cities, written in stone. The fear has always been with us. And here's the real gut punch. At Princeton University from the 1970s through the early 2000s, the PEAR Lab, Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research, ran thousands of experiments on consciousness affecting physical systems. One of their final conclusions? Human intention appears capable of interacting with the environment beyond the limitations of spatial-temporal constraints. In plain English, your mind doesn't die in a straight line. It bleeds, it lingers, it leaves fingerprints, permanently. And when you really connect the dots, the horrifying possibility emerges. Ghosts aren't random souls stuck behind. They're emotional shockwaves, energetic echoes of traumatic death, recorded into the fabric of space-time itself. Places drenched in pain, battlefields, hospitals, graveyards, become record players for human suffering. And the playback? That's what we see as ghosts. But wait, there's an even darker theory, one hidden in the writings of French scientist Aguier, one of the 19th century's most mysterious psychics, and echoed in the remote viewing projects. Not all that speaks from beyond is the past. Some are projections of what is yet to come. Time isn't a river, it's a storm. The dead you see, some may not be from the past at all. Some could be echoes of people who haven't even died yet. Think about that the next time you feel something watching you in an empty room. And finally, buried in the Vatican's secret archives, confirmed existence, very limited access, an untranslated 17th century document titled De Anima Vagans, on the wandering soul, chillingly suggests the soul is not confined by its life nor its death. It is the tremor between creation and memory. Confirmed, human energy persists beyond measurable life in multiple studies. Ghosts appear in every recorded culture across all of human history. Governments have funded and buried research into consciousness after death. Speculation. Ghosts could be conscious echoes, not independent spirits. Some sightings might represent future events bleeding backward through time. Unresolved, the exact mechanism, what triggers a soul to stay, trauma, choice, cosmic law, why some places are haunted and others silent. Final line. Whether it was misunderstanding, cover-up, or something far stranger, this case remains unresolved and very real.